Hello everyone. Today we'll discuss another concept in the field of socio-linguistics, and that is code switching. So let's learn in detail what is code switching in the area of socio-linguistics. Introduction to code switching. Code switching refers to the practice of alternating between two or more languages or varieties of language in a conversation. So it means that when you are interacting with someone or you are making a conversation and you change your language, you switch from one language to another, or if you switch from one variety of language to another one in a interaction, in conversation, so you are doing what? You are doing code switching. So code switching is a phenomena or a concept in sociolinguistics which refers to alternating from one language to another or from one variety of language to another in a conversation. But keep in mind that it is important that if you switch from one language to another or you switch from one variety to another, you alter your language. It's important that there should be the ability in you to speak two or more than two languages. Or you must have the ability to understand and speak two or more than two varieties of a language. Otherwise, it will be difficult for you, or it will be impossible if you are a monolingual. Right? But it doesn't happen like at individual level, but it happens at societal level, because if the person you are interacting or he and she doesn't have the ability to understand two languages or to understand two different varieties of the same language, so if you are switching, the person won't understand you. So this is important, right? So it's a key characteristic of bilingualism and multilingualism. What is the key? We are talking about code switching. That code switching is one of the key aspects of multilingualism and bilingualism. So what is bilingualism? The ability to speak two languages. What is multilingualism? The ability to speak more than two languages, or the ability to speak multiple languages. So code switching is influenced by context, social norms, and linguistic preferences. So why do we do code switching, or why we alter our language? It's because sometimes the requirement of the context, in which context we are, right? You are presenting a presentation, right? And there are audience, so some of the concept you might explain in English, right? One word, two words, right? And some of the concept might better you explain in Urdu. So it requires a context. Or social norms, because you are sitting in a party, okay, in a business meeting, okay, or like there is some ceremony, fine. So the social norms tells you, or the social norms compel you to switch or to alter your language, or it might be because of linguistic preferences, that which language you prefer to speak in, right? Now, bilingual and multilingual communities. Bilingualism, the ability to speak two languages fluently. If you are able to speak two languages fluently, it's not possible that you will speak two languages equally, but you will be able to speak two languages fluently. So you are fluent in two languages. So when you are fluent, it means that you also understand two languages. Multilingualism, the ability to use multiple language, and if you are able to use, or if you are fluent in multiple language, you understand and speak multiple language, so then you are multilingual. But again, it's not possible that in all languages that you speak or you understand that you will be equally proficient. It's not possible, right? So, code switching often arises in communities where people speak multiple languages. As I told, that it's not at individual level, but it is at community level. If a community speaks two or more than two languages, so we can find their code switching. Like in Peshawar, inside the city, we see that people speak Henko also and Pashto also. So when they are interacting, so sometimes they switch from Henko to Pashto or from Pashto to Henko. It's possible, okay, that if you are communicating with someone and you and that person also understand the same two or more than two varieties of the same, so you can also alter your dialect. So code switching often arises in communities where people speak multiple languages, and language choice depends on the social setting, right? In which social setting you are. You're at university, you're a cafeteria, you're in a marketplace, where you are. Sometime, okay, at home you might be using Pashto language or Henko language, but when you are at a bus station, you're in the marketplace, so people in your surrounding, they speak Pashto. So you switch from Henko to Pashto because you are already bilingual, or suppose you are already multilingual. So you switch from that language to another one. It's a requirement because might be that at home you speak Henko, but in marketplace the people, they do not know or they do not understand or they are not fluent in Henko. So perhaps, okay, because of the circumstances and the social setting, you shift from Henko to Pashto. It happens. Excuse me. Or, for example, that at home you're speaking Urdu, okay? But when you come out and you're going in a bus, you're sitting in a cafeteria, but the people, they are not fluent in Urdu, so of course you will switch from Urdu to Pashto language. It also happens with English language. So it depends on the social setting in which you are, that you switch, you alter your language. Reason for code switching. So there are multiple reasons for code switching. For example, to ensure understanding, that this is the one purpose. So choosing a language that the listener comprehends. As I told you, that you might be speaking English at home or at university. You're very well proficient. Okay, in English. But when you come to the marketplace, you're buying vegetables, you're buying some fruits, so might be the fruit sellers, they do not understand English, they do not understand Urdu. So you switch from English to Pashto, to their language. So this is also code switching because, and you think, okay, that if I speak English, so the person might not understand. So that's why, okay, that for better comprehension, you switch from one language to another one. Similarly, that social norms are also there. This is also one of the purpose, following the community linguistic rules. Okay, at university you are asked. In a classroom, sometime I tell my student they do not speak Pashto. So outside of the classroom or university, they might speak Pashto. But as they get in the class or university, so I ask them, I compel them to speak in English. So because that is social norms. Okay, there's linguistic norms, the linguistic rules that you have to speak in English, not in Urdu or Pashto. The third purpose, that expressing identity, symbolizing affiliation with a particular group or culture. Sometimes it happens, you might be a Henko speaker, okay, you might be a Pashto speaker, but when you come across and interacting with a person who is fluent or who favors, okay, linguistic preference, okay, that is to Henko. Or for example, that at home you speak Pashto, but you are meeting a friend or someone who prefer to speak Henko. So because of that person, you're doing what? You shift or change your language. So it's like expressing identity, symbolizing affiliation with a particular group or culture. Right? So you want to symbolize with them. You want to, okay, respect their identity. That's why that you start speaking in their language, because you also understand you have the ability, okay, to speak both languages or several languages. But when it comes to the person that they feel easy, okay, they are comfortable with that language, so you start speaking in that language. Now, conveying emotions or emphasis, so using a different linguistic or dramatic effect. It also sometime, okay, that we get angry, okay, or we tell a joke, fine, or there's an expression, we want to show our emotions and feelings, so we switch from one. You might be delivering a speech in English, okay, but sometimes you see that there might be some emotions you want to show to the audience, so you switch from one language to another. This is, okay, what they say, conveying emotions or emphasis, so using a different language for dramatic effect. Because getting angry, okay, that's in your the language that you are very well proficient, or that's your mother tongue. As I told in the beginning, that you might be bilingual, you might be multilingual, but you can't be proficient. You might be equally fluent in all languages. Okay, it's not possible. So in order to show your emotions and feeling, you alter from one language to another. So these are some of the reason and purposes of code switching. Why it hung, I don't know. Okay, so situational code switching. What is situational code switching? Definition: switching languages based on the external situation or sometimes external situation and context compel you to switch from one language to another. Example, in Surius, Italy, German is used at home, a local dialect within the village, and standard Italian is in formal setting. So situation tells you to speak in a formal setting the standard Italian, not the local dialect that is known as Soris. So language choice reflects the social function and symbolic meaning of the setting, because you're in a formal setting as a requirement of the setting. So according to situation, you switch your language. Example, Soris village. In Soris, northern Italy, German is spoken within the family. Okay, this is one language, one variety. So Sorian's dialect Italian is used informally in the village. We're talking about local dialect. Now, standard Italian is used in formal setting like school, church, and work. So situation tells you to speak in this language and you switch from one language to another, or from one variety. In the case of here, we can say variety, from local variety to standard one. So this division reflects the cultures and social roles of each language. From local one, okay, that is spoken in Soris, northern Italy, and then we have a standard one that is spoken in school, college, or universities. Metaphorical code switching. So definition: using language to redefine the situation rather than responding, because you are redefining situation, not responding to it. For example, that a clerk in Norway uses a local dialect for casual greetings. For casual greeting, a clerk in Norway using what? Casual, using local dialect, and switches to standard language for official business. When there's official business, so he switches from the local dialect to a standard language. This is what? This is called metaphorical switching. Similarly, that speakers manipulate language choices to convey subtle meaning or roles. In order to convey certain meaning or role, so you switch from one language to another. Symbolic function of languages. Languages symbolize different communities or social groups. So in order to show sympathy or symbolization with them, you switch from one language to another. Speaking a particular language can signify identity, tradition, or social status. If you're speaking Pashto, This is your identity, social status. And somebody comes, okay, to symbolize with you, so he or she starts speaking Pashto. This is called symbolic function. Example, in Kapur, India, languages maintain caste distinctions and culture identity. So there's distinction between the different caste and culture identity. Implication of code switching. Code switchings highlights the complexity of human linguistic behavior. That how complex is language or the human behavior regarding to language. It shows how speakers balance societal norms and individual preferences. Sometimes that's your individual preferences, you switch from one language to another, and sometimes it is societal norms and rules, culture, that you switch from one language to another one. Understanding code switching helps in appreciating cultures and linguistic diversity. And we appreciate, okay, that people, they are diverse, not just their clothing, their color, their tradition, social norms, but they are also diverse in speaking different language than us. So, conclusion, we can conclude today's lecture that code switching is a dynamic and meaningful practice in multilingual society. As I told in the beginning, it's not possible in monolingual societies. It reflects social roles, cultural identity, and linguistic creativity. Studying code switching provides insight into language use and human interaction.